You know that feeling? The holidays are just around the corner. It's supposed to be all about warmth and connection, right? But what if? What if it's the time of year you feel the most alone? If you have ever felt that little pang of loneliness during a big celebration, trust me, you are not the only one. Today, we're going to dive into the science behind that feeling, what I call the loneliness paradox, and uncover a real science-backed guide to building connection.
Just let that sink in for a second. This feeling is incredibly common, but we almost never talk about it. It's like the pressure to be happy and connected can actually make us feel its absence even more. It creates this huge, painful gap between what we see all around us and what we're actually feeling inside. And this leads to a really big question. We are social creatures. We are literally hardwired to connect with each other. So why on earth does being surrounded by people at a family gathering, a party, or even just scrolling through a happy-looking social media feed, why does that sometimes feel so incredibly isolating? Well, the answer isn't just a feeling. It's about what is physically happening inside your brain. Yeah, the answer is deep in our neurobiology. And what scientists have discovered about social pain is honestly mind-blowing. It turns out our brains take social rejection and loneliness very, very seriously. And for a really good reason. And this isn't just a fleeting thing for a few people. Get this, according to some surveys, as many as 75% of young people report feeling lonely. This is not a personal failure, okay? It's a modern epidemic. And to really get why it hurts so bad, we have to look at what's going on upstairs. This is where things get really wild. Neuroscientists discovered that your brain processes the pain of social rejection using many of the exact same pathways it uses for physical pain. So that feeling of a broken heart, that's not just a metaphor, it's a biological reality. Your brain is literally sounding an alarm, screaming that your connection to the tribe is in danger. So how does this even work? How can our brains register social pain like it's a stubbed toe? Well, a huge part of the answer lies in these amazing brain cells called mirror neurons. These guys are basically the foundation of empathy. When you see someone smile, your mirror neurons fire as if you were the one smiling, letting your brain simulate their experience. And right here, this is the cruel twist of feeling lonely in a crowd. You see other people laughing and connecting, your mirror neurons fire up, and your brain starts simulating those very feelings of joy and belonging. But then, that simulation crashes head-on with your own reality of feeling disconnected. And that contrast, that gap, can make the loneliness feel 10 times worse.
But it's not just about the wiring in your brain. Oh no. There are also specific chemicals that are running the show, pushing us toward each other and making us feel terrible when we're apart.
And the star player here is oxytocin. You've probably heard of it. The bonding hormone, the cuddle chemical. It's this powerful neurochemical our brain releases to help us form bonds, feel trust, and experience empathy. It is, basically, the feeling of connection in chemical form.
So when we're isolated, we are essentially starved of this vital chemical. In fact, studies show that being socially isolated for a long time can actually reduce your brain's ability to even transmit oxytocin. This leads directly to behaviors that look a lot like depression and anxiety. It's a clear biological reason why loneliness feels so awful. Okay, I know this all might be sounding a little bit grim, but here is the beautiful truth of it all. The same biology that makes us so vulnerable to loneliness, it also gives us all the tools we need to overcome it. Your brain has a powerful built-in toolkit for creating happiness and connection. I absolutely love this quote from Dr. Laurie Santos because it's so empowering, right? It's a reminder that we are not just victims of our circumstances. We actually have agency. We have control. Through our actions and our thoughts, we can actively change our own brain chemistry for the better.
We can literally trigger our brain's reward system on purpose. Simple things like practicing gratitude can boost feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. Small acts of kindness light up those reward circuits like a Christmas tree. And of course, genuine connection gives us that wonderful hit of oxytocin. We can literally train our brains to look for joy.
So, let's get practical. How do we actually put this science into practice? Let's walk through some super simple, actionable protocols that you can use to start building those connections and rewiring your brain for well-being, like right now. First up is something so simple, but honestly, it's incredibly powerful. It's called the 20-second connection rule. And it's just a great reminder that when it comes to connection, the quality of the moment matters so much more than the quantity of time. And we're not talking about huge gestures here.
This can be as simple as a hug that lasts just a couple seconds longer, or a text message that you really put some heart into, or even just making warm, genuine eye contact with someone. These little micro moments are enough to trigger a release of oxytocin, which physically reduces stress and strengthens your feeling of connection.
All right, next up is a mental protocol. This one is all about shifting your focus. It's called gratitude reframing. And look, this is not about pretending bad things don't exist. It's about actively training your brain to also see what's good. The action is easy. Every day, just intentionally look for small delights. You know, a funny thing your pet did, a really cool-looking cloud, that first sip of coffee in the morning. See, our brains have what's called a negative bias. We're wired to spot threats to survive. This little practice retrains your attention, building a mental habit of noticing the good stuff and actively boosting your positive emotions.
And finally, a protocol that is so crucial for the world we live in, where we can be constantly connected yet feel deeply alone. It's about setting digital boundaries.
I love this analogy. It calls endless scrolling and passive liking the NutraSweet of social connection. Isn't that perfect? It gives you these quick, unsatisfying hits of dopamine, nutritional crumbs that actually leave you feeling hungrier and more isolated than before. What our brains crave is the real nourishment of real-time interaction, like a phone call or a video chat. That's the stuff that actually fills you up. The idea here is to forget about trying to force those deep, meaningful conversations. That can feel like so much pressure, right? Instead, the secret is just creating a shared experience. It's all about synchronization. Get this. Research shows that when a group of people all focus on the same thing, like watching a football game or listening to someone tell a great story, their bodies actually start to sync up. Their heart rates and their breathing patterns literally get on the same wavelength. And the shared physical state creates this deep subconscious feeling of being bonded, all without anyone having to say a single vulnerable thing. It's like building a bridge for connection without any of the pressure.
So, where does all this leave us? It leaves us with this profound understanding of our own biology and a really clear, hopeful path forward. We have the power to consciously rewire our own brains for warmth and for connection.
And if you remember nothing else, please remember this. Feeling lonely is not proof that you are broken. It is a biological signal, just like hunger or thirst. It is your brain's ancient, hardwired way of telling you that connection is absolutely essential for your survival and your well-being.
And the science is crystal clear on this. True, lasting joy, it's not found in the big, grand, picture-perfect celebrations. It's built, bit by bit, in the small, consistent, everyday micro-moments of real human warmth.
So, as this season of gathering gets closer, let's just remember this. We don't need to chase some impossible idea of perfection. Instead, let's just practice connection. One small gesture, one moment of being truly present, one shared laugh at a time. Because that is both the science and the art of truly coming home. So, what's one small act of connection you can practice today?
Next week, I'm releasing the follow-up to this video, The Neuroscience of Thanksgiving Joy. I'll show you the exact protocols neuroscience has discovered for creating real connection, even in difficult circumstances. I'll explain the touch science, the gratitude circuits, and the practical strategies your brain needs to transform Thanksgiving from painful to powerful. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to Psychology Lab Facts. Drop a comment sharing your experience. You'll help others feel less alone. And remember, your brain's response to loneliness isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's proof that you're wired for connection. See you next week.